On any given day, it is estimated that upward of 55,000 women veterans are homeless throughout the United States. Like too many of their brothers in arms, these women have served with honor before falling on hard times and bad luck. Believing that one homeless female veteran is too many, one woman was determined to do something about it. In 2005, Jaspen Boothe was a single parent in the Army Reserves living in New Orleans. As she prepared to deploy to Iraq, her life was torn apart when she lost everything she owned to Hurricane Katrina. 1 month later, she was diagnosed with aggressive cancer. Unable to deploy and in need of work and medical care, Jazz saw personally just how underserved women in her position were. With a commitment to never leave a fallen comrade, her ordeal inspired Jazz to create Final Salute, a nonprofit that has now assisted homeless and underserved female veterans and their children in more than 30 states. Sharing the story of this remarkable woman, Major Jaspen Boothe, we are joined by the people who can tell it best, the women she has served.
I joined the military in 2005. The first time I deployed was in 2010. I left my civilian job. At the time I was a banker. My then fiance and I decided that we would start a family. And so I had my daughter. While I was on maternity leave, I was terminated. Shortly after that, my husband had an injury on his job. His particular position did not provide short-term disability. So here I was on maternity leave and terminated. And then he was out of work.
I joined the reserves in April of 2014 upon finishing my fall semester in Richmond, Virginia. It was the right time in my life to join the service. I still currently serve. I moved to Alexandria, Virginia due to the needs of a previous relationship as well as my interest of transferring to a university. It was a very difficult time in my life. I was a full-time business student. I'm working overnight 40 hours a week as well as drilling with my reserve unit. I have family that are always supporting me, but I was away from home, placed in a new situation in life that I never thought I would encounter.
I reached out to Final Salute. I'd seen a flyer for a job fair and I met Jazz. She gave me an itinerary, so I had interviews already set up to meet with potential employers. I remembered that organization did a little more than job fairs, and so I completed an application on their website. She called me within 2 minutes. She said, "Hey, this is Jazz, I remember you." She said, "We have a beautiful home in Alexandria. It's big enough for you and the baby." While I was living at the home in Alexandria, I was told that I would deploy for a second time. And at this time, my husband and I both would deploy, and we needed help with the baby. And everyone who ideally would be available to help us was not available. And again, I reached out to Jazz, and she kept my baby for a year while my husband and I deployed. And now we live as a family together. I can't say enough about Jazz. She literally has walked in the boots that I walk in. She is one of the most resilient women I know.
Final Salute and Jazz was basically a blessing. Jazz was very helpful and very welcoming. She's very kind-hearted, and it takes a special person to have the desire and ambition to want to do something special for other veteran women.
Jazz was a catalyst for this movement. She didn't want other females to go through what she went through. And so now she's a champion for female vets. And so what happens when she assists a female vet, and we become champions.